Hello, everyone. It's Matt from Akuma Mods back again with our review of the Liqcreate Hazard Glow. So yes, Matter Hackers reached out to us a little while ago and asked if we would like to test out any resins from them. And one of them specifically caught my mind, and that was the Liqcreate Hazard Glow. And the reason why it caught my mind is, well, it says its name in itself. It is a glow-in-the-dark resin. Now, I got this bottle a little while ago, and we did a lot of testing. It's pretty much empty, but I will tell you that it is kind of a hard resin to print with. And the reason being is that this tends to settle just like mica powder does on resins. So it's not an ideal situation if you're going to have a very, very long print or even kind of a shorter print, maybe a couple hours, because it does have an issue where it gets very coagulated, so to speak. It's very, very gelatinous. It's probably one of the most gelatinous resins I've ever used to this date, and I've used some flexible resin, which is like it's like goo, and this is even worse because it's like sandy goo. So anyway, we did some printing with it. We printed it on the Sonic Mini 4K because I was a little worried that possibly I would destroy the LCD screen with one of these bottles because it had like a sandy substance to it. Like you could feel it on your gloves and everything. So I was a little concerned about it. So I went to their webpage and they had setups for the Frozen Sonic Mini 4K. And they seemed a little extreme, in my opinion. So to print this on a monochrome screen, a 4K screen, they had it 75 seconds burn-in layers. Now, granted, it was only one layer, so that probably worked very well. But that's like extremely cooking this thing. And I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I believe the normal exposure was 11 seconds for this, which is extremely high for even older screens. That's really, really high up there. So to have it on a monochrome screen that usually prints between 1.5 and 3 seconds, that's normal times for the Sonic Mini 4K. To have it print at 11 seconds was just insanity. So we went ahead and we did some settings with it, and some support settings were just not right on it. And it just seems to be like it bonded too well. The supports bonded too well to the prints. But we ended up printing some of the stuff, and I did print them pretty much solid. I probably should have printed most of them hollow. Some of the prints didn't come out, and so we had to end up, wasting probably a quarter of the bottle on just failures because it's a very hard resin to print with. However, the ones that we did get, I can kind of show you off what I'm talking about, where the liquid, or at least the glow-in-the-dark mica sediment, whatever you want to call it, actually settles in the bottom. And I'll show you the two regular prints that we kind of have, and then I'm gonna stand up and turn off my light above me so we can actually see if it kind of works. So first and foremost, my son is very much into Minecraft, him and his friends. So I figured, what can I print in glow in the dark that would kind of show off a little bit and still have it, kind of a cool print that maybe he would like. And so I took to the internet and I found a creeper print, and all the prints that I'll show off, I'll link below here if I can still find some of them, because it was a while ago that I printed these. But without further ado, that is the creeper. And I know my lighting situation is not the greatest, but you can kind of see him a little bit. He did come out okay. Some of the support structures, like I said, were kind of like welded to it. And I think that just had to do with the settings that they suggested were a little bit too extreme for it. But I understand why they had to be too extreme because, like I said, the sediment kind of settles at the bottom of it. I did get a little bit better prints. Of course, I wanted to do like a little ghost. So I ended up printing off this little guy. And, you know, he's completely hollow on the inside, and he was a very simple print to do. He came out perfectly fine. And then I was kind of in a Nightmare Before Christmas mood at the time. So, and this one will show off exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to the sediment. So we printed off Oogie Boogie. And now you can see there's two different sections here. So you see that's like very, very light, and this is almost clear. Well, that's the reason being because he was printed exactly like this. So as you can see, all of the glow sediment just kind of went inside the vat. This is the same issue we have with like mica powders and basically any type of oddball additive into resin printing. They tend to just sink to the bottom because there's nothing to keep it flowing, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the lights and just kind of show you guys what these prints look like. I know this one for sure, obviously, because most of the glow sediment is in the top of his head. That's going to glow a little bit better, but they should all be pretty good. Let me light this up a little bit so we get a little bit of UV on here and get this all situated so we can have some awesome glow-in-the-dark effect. And we shall go ahead and put it up. So as you can see, pretty much this is like clear resin, but obviously, you know, we only have a little bit on here. And I'm going to try and warm this up a little bit more so we can get it. Probably the best one is going to be the Ghost, and that's this little guy. And the camera doesn't really do it justice. He does have a lot of glow in him. So as you can see, but, you know, some of that does shift. So as you can see right there, he's not really glowing too well. And I don't know if that's just because we're not warming him up in the light. That's probably why. There we go. We'll warm him up a little bit. So it does need some UV light. So there we go. There, it's a little bit better. So it doesn't really stay for a long period of time. These do kind of wind down pretty quickly. And then I'm going to try and show you guys the creeper here in a little bit and kind of show you off exactly how he came out. He was a little bit better. We tried to keep mixing the sediment while he was printing. But again, you can kind of see that, you know, more solid prints, they don't really stay too well glowing. So that's the one issue. So if you are printing with this stuff, I do highly suggest printing hollow because it's going to make sure that that glow-in-the-dark effect is going to stay with the print, because obviously this one is, you know, super thin. It's only about 2 millimeters thick around, and you obviously saw that it held its glow-in-the-dark over anything else. So, but that's pretty much it for the review side. I will say that if you are looking into getting this Hazard Glow, it is quite expensive. Last time I checked, these were going for $180 for this. I think it's a liter and a quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't really say. But either way, you're paying for basically a liter of resin or 1,000 milliliters of resin, but it is very, very expensive. So obviously there is other alternatives where you can add like the glow-in-the-dark mica powder if you want to try and do that. But I will tell you that the results of that are going to be very differential compared to this. Even though this is kind of hard to print with, it's probably the better solution if you want something to maintain its glow. Again, obviously, if you're going to print it hollow, don't print it solid because it's just not going to reflect the light very well, even though it is technically a clear resin at its base with some additive in it. So, but yeah, I will leave a link down below to Matter Hackers. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that. But if you guys are interested in Liqcreate, go ahead and check them out. They do have other resins out there on matterhackers.com that are just amazing resins. And obviously, you do need a very, very deep pocket if you are going to print with Liqcreate. But they are one of the higher end resins out there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I know it wasn't really too much and super informative that I'd like it to be. If you guys got any questions, comments, concern, go ahead and put them down below. And yeah, until next time, guys, happy printing.